it almost like it was a little shot of reality, you know what I'm saying, that we kind of needed to have, at least myself. Okay, the analyst part of me aside, okay, I'm talking about the the fan part of me, okay, that been with this team, just like you have, you know what I'm saying, since we've been little kids, stuff like that. I do think this year was a slice of reality. Do I think that I didn't heard people say, well, this is the old Lions and SOL Lions, and the Lions curse Bobby Lane. It just people bring up those ridiculous sound bites and different, theories on that. I don't think that those Lions that's in the past. I do think we are in a different era, you know what I'm saying? But I do think, man, I didn't realize how bad depth wise we were. We're in bad shape depth wise, man. We didn't have the depth that we thought we had. At least I'm gonna say myself. I mean, you kind of seen it coming actually, and I didn't, man. I thought the secondary was one of the spots. I mean, just think about it going into that draft when we took Arnold and Rakestraw, and you know what I'm saying, we kind of had some guys that we signed during, Carlton Davis, before that season last year. And it was sort of like, we wasn't going to be struggling the way we are. Meek Robertson was a guy that we had. And it just didn't, this year just didn't have the same feel. It was like more so hope than anything. We didn't have only thing we had to kind of hang our hat on was what we did the last 2 years. And I think it came back to bite us, man. I really do. I don't think, um, like you said, it's enough blame to go around. You don't want to keep, beating the same dead horse about, you can say the quarterback, you can say the general manager, you can say, this person ain't doing their job. But the fact of the matter is, I even look at this week's game. I take the Rams, for example. Like, the Rams are 2 and 3 deep at every position. They've been kind of not injury prone too. I think at this time of year when you got less injuries, I think that's an advantage. And I think the Rams have been let relative. I think the only guys on IR is Tutu Atwell, if I'm not mistaken. He's the only guy that's out. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else, that team is deep, man. They got 2 and 3 guys at every spot, and that's what we used to be. You know what I'm saying? Well, we had guys that we could lean on. Remember, it was a point of time when Kobe Sourcedall, we were talking about him saying, yeah, he was an adequate backer. What's up, Corey? What's up, Super Random? What's up, fellas? Um, it was a time where we said that we had Kobe Sourcedall. Awasika was a guy that we, they were just plug-in guys. You know what I'm saying? Now, I think, man, the domino fell when Frank Ragnow retired. But I think the start of that domino started to fall when Frank wasn't practicing the last 2 years, and we did nothing. It was another guy. It's a guy on their roster, that the Rams roster, that I was banging the table for, is Bo Limmer. Bo Limmer at center from Arkansas. I think he's 6'6", 308, something like that, something ridiculous like
Yep.
that. They so deep. Bo Limmer don't even play, Walt. You know what I'm saying? He's like the next guy in waiting. He reminded me of when the Eagles drafted Cam Jurgens. When they knew Kelsey was getting towards the end. Good organizations get the next guy ready. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't do that, man. And shame on us. You know what I'm saying? Now it's coming back to bite us, that we're hoping that two rookies, basically Mahogany's a rookie this year. We was basing our hopes on two rookies, which is kind of not fair to them. You know what I'm saying? Even though I always feel like if you draft a blue chip offensive lineman in the top in the first round, he should be able to start for you. I always thought. I know it's an adjustment period, but if you got veterans on that line, he should be able to come in and start and learn from Decker and Sewell, like you said, right next to Penny Sewell. So for me, I think this season, I think it's fool's gold to sit here and say, well, we lost Brian Branch and You know, we got holes in the secondary, a gaping hole in the secondary at every position. And to sit here and just say, "Oh, we'll be fine. We'll just make the playoffs and everything will be fine, and we just can continue to next man up." I think this year, Watt has finally caught up with us, man. You know what I'm saying? Last year we got away with it because we was deep enough to kind of withstand, hold our own. We had Zadarius Smith kind of helping out, the other side of it. It just this team is so many holes, man. I didn't realize this draft is huge, man, because if we don't get any players this draft, it's like, that yeah, and not having Branch and Kirby Joseph is devastating, man, to this team. You know what I'm saying? I think we could always get by with the secondary not being, great coverage wise or, great one-on-one guys because we knew we had two guys in the backfield that could clean up the mess, you know what I'm saying, so to speak. Now, well, we don't have that, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot to ask of these guys to just continue. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm defeated already. I don't want to sound like that at all. But it just, I don't see it sustainable. Maybe I don't see us winning this week. I mean, maybe we could beat the Steelers. I think that's going to be a more tougher game than people think because the Steelers are a team that kind of plays that rough and tough and want to slow the ball down and wait for you to make a mistake. And I think that, those kind of games this year, the Lions haven't performed well, man. They've been kind of sloppy in those games. So Pittsburgh is a game you want to look at. We play Chicago the last game of the season. We got Minnesota, I think, on Christmas Day, you know what I'm saying, kind of sandwiched in between there. So, yeah, I mean, this game is huge against the Rams, man. I just don't see the Rams are a better team. That's number one. And for anybody that just sitting here wearing their Lions glasses, painted blue and just say we're the better team, I think you're mistaken, man. Matthew Stafford's got ridiculous. No, I think he's got 35 touchdown passes right now, leading the league in touchdowns. Clearly, I think the MVP race, could be down to him and Josh Allen again, you know what I'm saying, that type of thing. I think we do got, Jahmyr Gibbs is honorable mention at least. But this feels like, and what makes me more even upset about this whole thing about the Lions this year, man, is we totally wasted an MVP type season for Jahmyr Gibbs. We totally wasted it. This reminds me of when Barry Sanders was in his prime, doing it all, 200 yards, all-purpose yards, whatever, and it just didn't mount to anything, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it feels like. We're just using the Jahmyr Gibbs muse to cover up what's really wrong with this team, man. You know what I'm saying? And it sucks because Jahmyr Gibbs, and don't be surprised if his agent said, "Listen, man, you've been dominating for 2 years. Don't be surprised Jahmyr Gibbs hold out coming up next season, man, because he got to pay the man." Do you know what I'm saying? Period. And I'm telling you right now, we always predict things and we see things coming down the pipeline. Money gonna be an issue if you don't pay my guy, man. You know what I'm saying? Because he's always he's been the guy that we just leaned on constantly. I think we overused him this year, and it's just what's up, B? Yeah, my guy, man. And it's almost like I'll let you take it away, but it just. I don't want to sound like I'm defeated, but I just think this week is just going to be a reality check. Think about this. Every tough game we've had this year, it's been a reality check. Remember the Packers game?
Yeah.
Glaring mishap with the offensive line debacle, didn't get who we supposed to get. It showed, right? When we played the Eagles, it showed that we wasn't ready to play the Eagles, man. We lost to, Minnesota, a game that, I think, that's a team that we shouldn't have lost to them, okay? Then we lose to the Chiefs. Chiefs not very good, but they are still a damn good football team that's going to play with some pride. We wasn't prepared. We didn't beat the Chiefs. Say what you want. I'm not using the refs as an excuse. we lost the game, man. We wasn't good enough. And then, losing to the Packers on Thanksgiving, that really let the wind out of my sail, man, because I seen that number one, the division was out of the question. And number two, the Packers are a better team. I mean, I hate to say it. I hate the Packers. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta respect them. I mean, I really do. I hate the Bears, but the Bears are playing better football right now. I just want to say, yeah, right. That the Corey, and that's the whole thing. And then the minute you say things like you don't think the Lions are good this year, but people say, "Oh, well, you don't come back when they start winning," or don't. It's just like, are you? I hate that, man. It's like it,
Yeah.
people that know me, my family, my friends, everybody knows I'm more of a Lions fan than anybody, and you know what I'm saying. So I'm not gonna dog them out and say X, Y, and Z just being a fair bandwagon fan. It is what it is, man. We're not who we thought we were. Remember Denny Green, the whole they are who we thought we were. They ain't who I thought we were. We
Oh,
not
when
who I thought we was.
they lost that
Period.
game to the Bears. Yeah.
Yeah,
You want to
man.
crown their asses, crown their asses.
Because let me ask you a
Pound the
question, though.
table.
Right. Well, I'm gonna
Rest
ask
in
you.
peace, Denny Green,
Yeah,
man.
Denny Green, rest in peace. Okay, well, I'm gonna ask you 5 players real quick. I know it's kind of off script. You tell me, yeah or nay, are they coming back? Just right on. We don't even have to get into why or whatever.
Would I bring them back,
Yeah, yeah,
or do I
yeah.
think
Would
the
you bring them back?
organization would
And
bring them
I'll
back?
give
Would
you
I?
what I bring them back real quick. David
Mhm.
Montgomery.
No.
No, I'm okay. That's so that means you're not bringing David Montgomery back. You got to draft a running back, right? At least
Mhm.
another guy in the backfield. Which that's
Or sign somebody in free agency for like maybe 6 mil.
there you go. I'm
Yeah,
with
something
that.
like that.
Okay. These are probably no brainers here. Josh Pascal.
No,
Absolutely not. You're not bringing Josh Pascal back. Graham Glasgow.
no.
Absolutely not. You're not free. Okay, that's 3 guys right there. Um, I think Amik Robertson signed for just
Yeah,
this year, the rest of this season, right? Amik Robertson.
yeah, yeah,
You bringing Amik back?
yeah. Because I know I've spent, even though the dude broke his arm playing the best game of his career, probably
Mm-hmm.
against Justin Jefferson in that final game of the season last year, and he's been the one constant.
Mm-hmm.
Like over the last 2 years, Terrion been in and out the lineup. Carlton Davis only spent 1 year with us. Rakestraw never been able to see the field. Um, None of those dudes. DJ Reed, this
Yeah.
was his first year here, but he was also injured for a few games. Amik has been the one constant. And I know exactly what I can do with Amik. Amik don't need to be my number one outside. He don't need to be my number two, but
Mm-hmm.
he's a dog ass elite number three.
Yeah.
He's a slot.
Yeah. He brings it. Yep. He brings
Yeah.
it.
So yeah, I bring Amik back. Amik
Yeah.
back. That's
And
solid.
then 2 guys I want to lump together that have been with this team since the beginning of this rebuild that we like. That I think the end of the road. I think Khalif Raymond and
No,
Alex Anzalone. I think both of
no.
those guys won't be on this team, and I agree with you on both. I wouldn't bring them back, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? You probably can throw Macron Rodriguez in there too. That's not going to
Yeah.
be on this team next year. So we just named about
I
eight
think this
guys right
roster
there.
is good enough to still win
Hmm.
9, 10, 11 games. Maybe 12 this year. We don't know.
Yeah.
But it needs a good infusion of talent. And due to the fact that the 2024 draft failed so bad,
Yeah.
now they're in a situation where, okay, you made up for it seemingly with 2025. We're looking at Tyleek Williams. He looks like a keeper so far.
Hmm.
Not Malcolm. Miles Frazier, a guy that you and I were both
Oh
very
yeah.
high on
Oh yeah.
before the draft, right after the Senior Bowl. He showed some promise in that first game. Um, Still don't know moving forward. They still
Hmm.
rookies. Tate Ratledge. We're hoping Tate Ratledge is a whole lot better next year. So I mean, I would say if you look at this team right now, we have zero idea what the hell they can be next year. Because you have one safety who tore an Achilles. We probably won't see him on the field until the same time right now. next year.
End of the season, yeah,
Yeah.
like a late season edition or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And if it's a bad situation and I don't want to get negative about it, but if we being real about it, it can happen to anybody. We
Yeah,
looking at a season right now where the Ravens and Chiefs might both miss the playoffs, and nobody saw that coming. So I think this season has been a reality check for all 32 fan bases, for that matter. Like, look at the Eagles.
yeah,
The Eagles might mess around and lose 6 games.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
nobody saw that coming. So it's possible for us too to
Mhm.
actually feel the pain next year. It could get worse.
And
It could get better, but I think that with this free agency period, which we're gonna get to in a minute, and this draft class isn't necessarily high end talent early, all through the first round for that matter,
mhm.
even to the top of the second. But I think it's a very deep draft where we need help at.
Yeah,
You're talking about
yeah,
cornerback, safety. Um, if you're looking for a versatile front seven player, whether it be a guy that can play off the edge in the 3-4, or if you're trying to run some more 3-3-5, or you're looking for that traditional defensive end, they seem to like a guy that's in that Aiden Hutchinson, Marcus Davenport mode, a guy that's 6'6, 6'7, 260 plus, can contain outside, can drop down inside, play 4 tech and play some 3 tech if you need him to. I'm not going to really get you a whole lot of sacks for that matter, but they like those traditional type of defensive ends. That's why you and I both thought prior to last year's draft that Shamar Stewart, and I'm glad they didn't take Shamar Stewart, but Shamar Stewart kind of from a physical standpoint fits what they like.
yeah.
And he's been terrible for the for the Bengals.
Bengals, yeah,
Right. So there's a lot of talent in free agency. Like I said, we're gonna get into that in a minute. And there's a lot of talent in this draft, man. I just think that they've been put in a position now, like I said, when you fail with the 2024 draft, you bounce back somewhat with the 2025 draft. Now you're in a situation with the 2026 draft, you have to hit.
yeah. You got
And it
to
may sound ridiculous on my
pressure,
behalf, but I'm gonna say
pressure.
this: 2026 draft, you need to get at least 4 starters out of there.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's
3
got to
of them
be,
need to be high-end players.
yeah,
That like when you fail and when you swing and miss on an entire draft class, now the jury is still out on Terrion Arnold. Now I think it hurts him tremendously that he's gonna miss what the final 5 games of this season, or was
yeah,
it
man.
6?
That's we
Yeah,
need
that's
him in there.
terrible for his development. Terrible.
Mhm.
And Rakestraw hasn't played shit his
Yeah,
first 2 years in the league. So we don't know what we have. And isn't DJ Reed? He's a free agent.
yeah. He's 1 year. Yep, DJ Reed.
Yes.
And just
So
a
like,
couple guys that I think Corey did. I think who mentioned Anzarike. Yeah, Corey. Yep, Corey mentioned Pascal Anzarike. Eric. You know, he mentioned DJ Reader. He's another one that's not going to be on his roster. So that's about 10 guys that we named. That's 10 players on this team. That's not even we ain't even talking about the other, you know what I'm saying? Just what you said, the Rake Straws, the Makai Wingos, the Kristen Mahogany who was hurt, you know what I'm saying, who
and it's
got
funny
hurt.
you bring Wingo up because that's a guy you and I both liked, but
Uh,
he hasn't been able to
played.
play this season. So he's another guy that's on the bubble. Well, you
Yeah,
would think he would be on the bubble.
yeah. But it's just, Marcus Davenport. Name, look at all the dead weight we got on this team, man. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that he is oh, okay. DJ Reed is 3-year deal. I thought it was okay. You might be right. I think thanks for that info. So that tells a lot right there. It's gonna be interesting to see if we do draft a cornerback, Walt, in maybe the first 3 picks this year. You know what I mean? And I agree, Brent, Corey. I've been banging tape for you have to get a quarterback a serious prospect that you're gonna like groom like a Jordan Love, groom him for 2 years. You have to. When are you gonna start the process? You know what I mean? That's the part for me that's frustrating. Like the center position. If it was even if Frank was still playing or gonna play next year, to E's point, I still would draft a center. I mean, you still have to get somebody else in the room, man. I mean, it's ridiculous to just think that that one guy is gonna man the spot. You know what I'm saying? And never thank God we haven't had Goff hasn't went down with an injury. You know what I mean? It'll been okay, I guess, if you'd have had somebody behind them, and people would say, well, we drafted Hendon Hooker for that, and Hendon Hooker turned out he couldn't play. But you have to be serious about every position on this team, man. And I think this is the way this uh, season has gone. Hopefully, Brad Holmes sees this, man, and I mean he's the only guy that's in control of this thing that can change it on the fly. And do I have faith in him still? Absolutely, I do. I think he's one of the top 10 GMs in football. I really do. You know what I'm saying? And he's got to be, and he's got his philosophies. Trust me, he knows way more football than me. You know what I'm saying? But man, I know the eyes don't lie, and I know the fans don't lie, and I know what we've seen this season, man, has been underwhelming. And I think that's where the frustration comes, or that's where people just being realistic and say, you know what, this team ain't a Super Bowl team. You know what I'm saying? And I'm cool with just saying that. And I mean, I'm not less of a fan. Matter of fact, I'm more excited about the draft because I know that Holmes is a guy that pulls some strings on the draft night. He would trade up and get somebody. I want to get back to that. I want to get back to the excitement of Brad Holmes' first couple picks in the draft. If Brad's gonna do something, you know what I'm saying? And I do believe that. The Laporta thing, with him being hurt, another tight end wouldn't hurt. Listen to this. I was banging the table for Terrence Ferguson last year from Oregon. Terrence Ferguson's on the Rams, and he's third. He's their third tight end. It shows you how deep the Rams are. Terrence Ferguson barely even plays. I think he's an Aaron Hernandez clone. I mean, the good Aaron Hernandez. You know what I'm saying? I just think he's got all the tools, man. Kellen Winslow Jr., Jeremy Shockey, put them all together. I think that's who that guy is, man.
Really don't bring up Kellen Winslow neither.
All the players.
Oh no,
but I'm just saying,
not bring up either one of them, man.
The talent is there with Terrence Ferguson. I think the Lions really have to go and try to get somebody to compliment Sam Laporta too. You know what I mean? It's just Brock Wright ain't it, man. You know what I mean? He's good to block. I mean, he's on my team for blocking. I mean, I guess I like Brock Wright in that scenario where he's not the only guy, but you got him running slant patterns. It's ridiculous, man. That Thanksgiving when Goff didn't have time to throw, or he was throwing it just to St. Brown or nobody else, and they were running slant plays for Brock Wright. It was ridiculous, man. So the receiver room, I mean, well, how do you feel about the receiver room? I mean, I'm pissed about that. You know what I mean? Because it's like that's not even set. That's still not set. You know what I'm saying? And we went through a whole year this year and didn't develop one guy in the passing game. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't St. Brown, it's nobody else. J-Mo occasionally. You know what I'm saying? And it shouldn't be like that, man. You know what I mean? This team has way too many holes now that we're going through each player. I know you got a list of guys we go through free agency. I think that's good. That's a good outlook to kind of put it in perspective, where this team is headed. And let me just say this before we get into that part. If we take a step back, okay, it's not the end all be all. You know what I mean? I think sometimes teams could take a step back and become better. Like look at the Rams, right? The Rams won the Super Bowl, some years ago. We beat the Rams, ironically, to get our first playoff win in forever. And now the Rams are damn near the favorites again to make the Super Bowl. And and you look at their draft the last couple of years, Walt, they got right back on the same page. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of feel like the Rams lapped us, huh?
Yeah, yep, they did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they could win the Super Bowl again this year. If you look at their roster, I implore all the listeners, all y'all, E-Dub, what's going on, everybody? A-Dub, just look at the Rams roster, man. Their Rams are 3 deep. They like the Eagles, and that's why I think they went toe to toe with the Eagles, beat the Eagles last year. Damn near beat them in the snow, and it's like they draft well, and they got two and three guys at every position. And the Lions used to be that way 2 years ago. Now we're not. You know what I'm saying? So they may have to take a step back this year and next year just to get back, you know what I mean, to where we need to be. You know what I mean? And I'm cool with that as long as we make the necessary adjustments, in free agency. Don't play around, be serious in free agency. I mean, don't give me a guy who hasn't started his whole career, or don't give me a guy who, he's been injured his whole career. No, I mean, if you're gonna go out there, try to get Trey Hendrickson, man. You know what I'm saying? If you're not gonna draft a guy, or you don't feel comfortable with pass rushers in this draft, a serious pick, get Trey Hendrickson, man. It's not gonna cost you the whole draft. You maybe give up a third round pick for him. I mean, so who cares? Just get the guy here, man, and then go from there. But yeah, I'm glad that you got this up because I was interested to see what Alex Angeloni contract. Okay, so he was 6 million. Current means this year, right? Well, is that what they're making this year? Is that what that
Yeah.
is? Okay. Um Oh God, Levi Onwuzurike. We just mentioned half the guys on the roster on this list won't even be on the team next year, man. It's sad to be honest with you. But we're gonna have a lot of money out there. I think that we should be a player in free agency because a lot of the money's coming out. Yeah, I'm glad you put that up. Um, Dead money. We don't have to really worry about that unless we cut somebody pre-June 1st, right? Going into after this is
Yeah.
after the season's over, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, go back to that list, Walt. That list with all the free agents on there. The contract situation. Um, yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, Marcus Davenport. I'm gonna see making 2.5. I'm just trying to calculate in my mind on the fly,
Well,
like how much free money is gonna be freed up for next year. I mean, it seems like we're gonna be in good shape, you know what I'm saying, contract wise.
yeah. The one thing is this though, we still have to fill all of these spots.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's good right now that this is up on the screen. We go through this entire list. Now it's a long ass list,
Mhm.
but I think we go through this
Man,
entire list because you can't listen. Even though we're very disappointed in a lot of these players on here,
yeah.
some of them still gonna take a little bit of money and gonna stay because we have to keep some of these bodies around.
Roy can stay.
Because you're not gonna go out you're not gonna go out and sign 15 free agents
Mhm.
and draft 9 players. So a lot of these dudes gonna stay. But I think if we go through the list and I'm gonna keep track and you can keep track of all the no's we have for certain position groups like defensive line, linebacker, cornerback, safety,
Yeah.
offensive lines, then we'll get like a better grasp of okay, this is how we gotta attack free agency. This is how we gotta attack the draft. Because I'm gonna say this. For me, I would much rather have when it comes to our offensive line, I would much rather have a legit guard in free agency
Yeah.
over drafted another young dude. And I for damn sure don't want a 21-year-old left tackle, a 22-year-old left tackle, unless we wind up bottoming out and finishing high enough to get that guy, or we wind up trading up something you just alluded to that Brad Holmes could possibly do.
Mhm.
But when it comes to tackles, I'm a snob when it comes to tackles. I want the best guy. I want the elite guy.
Yeah.
I want the gold jacket guy. That's why prior to this team's the Panay Sewell draft, you and I both wanted Panay Sewell
Yeah.
for the same reasons. Because you need when you hit on that tackle, you have something for like the next 13, 14 years.
Yeah.
I don't want to just gamble on the third or fourth best tackle at pick 24
Yeah.
or pick 25. I don't want to do that. I would much rather get a legit guard in free agency, and the going rate for solid guard play has went up in the league. So you in a situation now where you have to pay. It don't matter to me. If it takes paying the best guard in free agency $21 million a year, I'm willing to do it. because I just don't see how this team can get better on the offensive line by getting younger, even more younger. There's a good chance that with these in the interior of this offensive line, at least two of these dudes not gonna pan out. Where this Christian Mahogany just can't stay healthy ultimately, and that becomes his demise, or Tate Ratledge never really evolves, or Miles Frazier doesn't work out. There's a
Mhm.
very good chance that at least two of these guys not gonna work out.
Yeah.
So we probably in a situation where we're gonna have to.
Yeah.
We're
I
gonna have to
think.
attack in the free agency. So I think, DJ Reader, more than likely DJ Reader's gone. 32 years
Yeah.
old at that hit.
32. Yeah.
Right. So that's another body on the interior, the defensive line you're gonna have to replace.
Mhm.
Alexander Zaloni,
Yeah.
good player.
Yeah.
Plays
32.
98% of the snaps. Everybody can see it right there, but 32 years old. Um, Current annually, you talking about 6.2 mil. Now we never heard over the off season exactly what he was asking for. Remember when he had
Yeah.
that alleged holdout?
Yeah. Yeah. He was pouting a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he came to work every day. He did his job. He played really well this season, so he didn't cop out on no BS.
Yeah.
But he's probably feeling like, yeah, I didn't get taken care of, so I'm out of here at the end of this season.
Yeah.
So that don't bother me too much.
No,
But
that
you
don't
and I
bother me
both
at
agree
all.
that Meek should be back.
Yeah. 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 Anzarike. Yeah.
No,
That ship is sailed with Anzarike, in my opinion. It's just I'm not getting enough bang for my buck with him. We went around the block again. We spun the block with Levi. And God bless him. I mean, he's had some back injuries. The back injuries ain't no joke, man. You know what I'm saying? That's something where it's hard uh to play through that, man. You know what I'm saying? It really is. You know what I'm saying? It could lead to other things. It just you can't play full contact football and dealing with a back, man. So I think everybody said, yeah, LA, I hear you. You know, I think it's safe to say that them three guys right now, DJ, Anzalone, Levi, not coming back. I think Khalif Raymond's on that list as well. 32 years old. You could tell Khalif Raymond. Khalif Raymond's played. He's been a good player his whole career. You know what I'm saying? But I just think it's time for the Lions
I
to.
think he's outperformed where he was supposed to be, and
Yeah,
that's
yep.
great for his
He's
career.
been
He had a
good, man.
good career.
I could see him still latching on if he's going to retire or whatever. If he may want to play, I don't know, somewhere else, but I could see him latching on to the organization, being a coach or something. I could see Khalif Raymond
Yeah.
still being here. Now, Roy Lopez, I like the production from Roy. He's in there 36% of the time. Good runs, good in the run department. I'll bring Roy back, at a discounted rate. You know what I'm saying? I think he's only 1 year anyways. This year. So, 3.5 it's not hurting us one bit, what I'm saying, to bring him back. You know, he may even take less money. Who knows if he likes it here, what I'm saying, the situation, the organization, the coaching staff. So Roy Lopez is a guy I bring him back. I mean, I really would. I think it's something there, especially if you getting rid of dead weight. I would rather, give Roy a shot to make the roster next year without trying to hope for Levi. I mean, when we see where that's gone the last 2 years. So Roy Lopez, I'm bringing back. Marcus Davenport, see you later, man. Not enough bang for my buck for me. Just like Anzarike, can't stay healthy. Just he's totally undependable this year. Totally disappointed in Marcus Davenport, man. Because I thought maybe we would catch like an Antonio McDyess type, last hurrah, get the back straightened out, whatever his stitch. I think he had a pectoral, chest, whatever it was, what I'm saying. I was kind of hoping for Davenport, rooting for him, but it's not worked out. Josh Pascal, see you later, man. Not enough bang for my buck again. I mean, it's just for these guys, we're paying out all, it's not a lot of money, but the money that these guys are getting paid, it's not worth it to me, man. To not have any pass rush, I'm real sour on that. That any of these guys haven't worked out, getting to the quarterback. For me, I see you later, man. 2026, see you later. For him, DJ Reader, I'm shaking his hand. I'm giving him a big old hug going out the door. I think DJ Reader, has done all he could, man. He's done all he can with the situation around. DJ Ritter should be playing with young players like Braden Fisk and Jared Verse. You know what I'm saying? He should be playing with young. He's got Aiden Hutchinson, but he hasn't. They haven't surrounded him with enough talent, in my opinion. So that's the only guy I think that really has really earned the contract that he was given.
Well,
You know what I'm
I want
saying?
to ask you a quick question, man.
Yeah.
What do you think about the whole Zach Cunningham signing?
Um.
Because we got him, and like neither of us was really high on the signing at all because
Yeah.
Zach was good early on as a Texan, and then his body started to break down a little bit, and then he had some weird transgressions with the last situation for Philadelphia. But 1.8% of the snaps, 32 years old. Like this is
Yeah.
another guy, even though it was pennies, I get it.
Yeah.
I completely understand. And this is Brad Holmes' entire thought process. It's
Yeah.
pennies, it's pennies. But you're still spending pennies and not getting anything.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand this entire philosophy. He gave us nothing this year at all, and you're still talking about a base salary of 1.2 for the most part.
Yeah.
Um, no, it's dead money, so it's no money
Yeah.
pre-June. So this is another signing that just never made any sense. Um, and even when you go through the rest of these names, like Kyle Allen, like this is how non-serious you take your Super Bowl window. Like this man was out of football doing a podcast with Carson Palmer's brother, Jordan Palmer, the
Yeah.
quarterback guru.
Yeah.
Out of football doing a podcast, and he's backing up your quarterback. This is what you have backing up your quarterback.
Uh-huh.
So you and I agree, our listeners agree, quarterback has to be addressed in this draft. If you don't address quarterback in this draft, you're a negligent ass organization.
Yeah.
And it's not about going out and getting a replacement for Jared Goff. It's about not going out and drafting some stiff in the 6th round that poses no threat to Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Show that you're serious about it. You don't go out there and sign some or draft some Brad Kaya or Jake Rudock. Like
Yeah. It's
that's not the
ridiculous.
move.
Yeah, it's
Get
ridiculous, man.
somebody. Get
Yeah.
somebody with some talent. Go draft a legitimate quarterback and you
Uh-huh.
develop them because you don't have anybody now. Hendon Hooker didn't work. Kyle Allen wound up beating him out. And
Uh-huh.
Kyle Allen couldn't beat anybody out anywhere. That's why he was. It gets to me, man, because some of this stuff is damn obvious that
Yeah.
they miss out on. And if we really want to be honest about it, how they failed this whole situation, this is what's flawed about the whole I'm going to just draft and re-sign my own guys and just spend pennies in free agency philosophy. You find yourself in a situation where you're consistently depending on young ass players during your Super Bowl window.
Yeah.
So what if they go out this offseason coming up, bro,
Yeah.
and they do nothing in free agency again?
Yeah.
And it's a possibility that that man could do that to us again.
So you mean to tell me he's gonna say, we're good with Awasika, we're good with what's Tristan
Rock Yasin's been good.
Rock Yassin, and then what's the other guy on this list Tyrus Wheat. I thought Tyrus Wheat was a good find from the Cowboys. Remember, he's with the Cowboy organization. He came late after the Micah Parsons deal. This is the guy, 26 years old. You're only paying him what $1.5 million for the year. Tyrus Reed it's something there with him. I think it's some good bones there with him. That's a guy I would absolutely bring back with Roy Lopez. Them two, Tyrus Reed, Roy Lopez, it's two guys right there. I think it's something there with him. He's had a game where he had 3-sack game, I think, so far this year. He's actually been one of the few to actually get to the passer. So, yeah, like you said, a guy like him, okay. But he's been few and far between, man. You know what I'm saying? Tyrus Wheat has been a guy, yeah, you might have got something for him, but like you said, the rest of these guys, man, hasn't, done enough, man, to me.
Let's be honest about
Saying
it.
he's
In
a
5
backup.
years,
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, no. Go ahead. But I just want to ask you real quick. In 5 years,
Yeah.
name one free agent signing that was a home run.
You talking about just free? You talking about it under this regime?
Yeah, somebody that we can look back and say, "Damn, we really struck gold with that guy."
I could say Dave Montgomery. I think Dave Montgomery was a guy brought in. I think now it's time to kind of turn the page on that. But I can say for his body of work, he still this year has like 7 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
So I could say he's the one guy. And obviously Anzalone. I think Anzalone was a guy they brought in at the time, from the whole New Orleans, regime. They were familiar. Dan Campbell's familiar with them, Anzalone. So I think those two guys right there were two guys that we got that has worked. But like you say, it's time to turn the page, though. You know what I'm saying? It was there. They had their time, and now it's time to move on. You know what I'm saying? It's just been the last 2 years. I think it just really it's hard to explain. Like you living off of what we did 2 years ago, man. It's obvious that you look at this roster and we haven't. I think we're the wide receiver room is a real question mark, man. I mean,
well,
because I
that
don't
right there too brings up a lot of new questions, man.
because I don't think this. I say this because I don't think that Jared Goff trusts anybody else. I don't think he trusts Jamar. I don't know what the like. I know Jared Goff's the kind of guy you got to run the right route. You know what I'm saying? You got to be open. You got to cause some separation. We all know that. But it just doesn't it seem like it's just like a disconnect there? I mean, I don't know if it's to me, it's either St. Brown or nothing. And for me, I don't understand why it's like that. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, we're a team. If we did get, let's just say the Lions do make the playoffs, right? And we get in, we have two guys on our team that other teams cannot account for. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you could try to stop Gibbs to an extent, and teams have done it. I mean, the Packers have done it. Twice they've stopped Gibbs, but Jameson Williams is the guy. I think that he stirs the drink, man. And for everybody that want to say he's immature and blah blah blah, he's still a guy that stirs the drink, man. You know what I mean? And I don't think that the organization has done enough. You know, Tim Patrick going out the door, man. It was just like that was like, okay, and it was like, okay, if you want to get rid of Tim, that's fine. But okay, did this guy you drafted to Tesla, maybe he's going to be the guy to fill that role, and it hasn't happened. You know what I'm saying? It just seemed like the development of another offensive weapon hasn't happened this year, and I think we're a year behind that because next year, what we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about who's going to step up and be that third guy, and they didn't develop it this year. You know what I'm saying? And that it's been a lost year. The offensive coordinator was the wrong choice. The offensive line was a disaster. The depth wasn't there. You know what I mean? It just so many things. It's just a snowball effect that happened with this team, man. It was allowing us to really think that we're better than we were. You know what I'm saying? And it's a kick in the gut. It really is. You know what I'm saying? Because now do I think the season's over right now? If we lose this week, I think it is. You know what I'm saying? I think we pretty much got to win out to even think about making the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that's fool's gold or not. I mean, because like you said in the pre-show, I think if we get in, we got two guys on our team that can flip a game real quick. You know what I'm saying? Offensively. And I think I like that kind of scenario going in the playoffs where we kind of like dangerous a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But in a part of me, in a bitter kind of way, like, man, we don't even deserve to make the playoffs. I hope Brad don't make and kind of gets embarrassed by what happened this season. You know what I'm saying? And kind of really gets aggressive. So Yeah, I'm glad you put up this injury report. I mean, it just seems like the last 2 years, the injury report has been overloaded with this team, man. Losing Brian Branch was devastating. It really is. I mean, for anybody that thinks that we're not gonna like not feel the effects of not having Brian Branch, that's that man. I don't know what you're watching. You know what I'm saying? The Kirby Joseph thing. I think it's best that he might as well just shut it down, man. Just shut it down. I feel like if he could be better off and then come back next year strong, just shut Kirby down, man. Just shut him down. You know what I'm saying, for the season. But um Shane Gilstra's another guy I thought that could capitalize, with Brock Wright being out, but he's hurt. It's just always it seems like the injury thing for us has been an uphill battle. It's like we haven't had the right nucleus of guys. It's like, okay, we got the offensive line right, but now Frank's gone. We drafted two guys and Mahogany's gonna start, but now Frank not gonna be around. You know what I'm saying? Zeitler's not here. Then okay, we get the secondary right, and then week one, we find out Rakestraw's not even playing anymore. You know what I'm saying? Now, okay, now we can come back from that, and now our defensive line's not right because Pascal's not playing and Davenport's not playing and Anzarique's not playing, and it just the uphill battle just from the end before we even get on the field. It's almost like it's an uphill battle this year, and I think that's the most frustrating part about it. And leaving pointing fingers out of it, Walt, and I think everybody can agree with this. I think that's the part I think that's most frustrating when you lose a player. And it's like, man, we didn't even get a shot at it with everybody healthy. And that's the only thing, like, we playing a game. These guys are playing a game that somebody's bound to get hurt. Look at Daniel Jones, got hurt for the season. We seen it, Brian Brandt. It just seemed like with the Lions, the injuries is always a factor with our team. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only thing I kind of like, man, shoulda, woulda, coulda with these guys, because I do feel like I don't want to make excuses or anything like that, but I really do think that they don't have the same. Yeah, I think the same magic that we had, man, because I think that the injuries are devastating. Look at these guys, man. Trevor Nowaski, he's another guy in the middle right there, 53. I don't know what his contract situation is, but I like him on this team, man. I think Trevor Nowaski, he's versatile, special teams guy. He can specialty linebacker, got some speed to him. I want my linebackers to have some speed, but I think he's a backup at best. But yeah, Rocky Scene's been good. He's in that picture as well. Thomas Harper's played some good snaps for the Lions at safety. So the rest of this year, I mean, I think I seen E made the point. I really do. I really do believe that Miles Frazier. Okay, this is I'm looking at the rest of this season. Okay, Miles Frazier's a guy. I wanted Miles Frazier. Okay. So I want to see Miles Frazier in there. We ain't got nothing else to lose right now. So you can't say you're holding this man back and he's not ready to play and his team's not. No. You put Miles 6'5", 325 pounds. I think he did have a false start and a holding penalty or something, but hey, this is his first game. I really like to see him in there. And he's really good. Can handle the blitz really well. I remember we did a whole show on this kid, man. Him and Gray Zabel was a couple that we really liked. I really do think it's something there with Miles Frazier. I'm just going to go off of his traits and his techniques. He's been well coached. It's something there, man. You know what I'm saying? Just, yeah, right, LA. Just put him in there and see what you got right at this point. You have nothing else to lose. And just what Corey yeah, and the Tom Kennedy thing. God bless Tom Kennedy, man. But I don't. I knew we were in trouble on Thanksgiving when Goff's throwing the ball to Tom Kennedy. Like we actually running plays looking for Tom Kennedy. Yeah, what's up, Greg?
I mean, we did go on to work Pistons, man.
I mean, no,
We
and
did
I
go
don't
on to
want
work Lions.
and, and I don't want to seem like I don't want to seem like Tom Kenny might be watching this and sticking his middle finger up at me. I don't want it to sound like I don't like him or nothing like that. I
No, I
do
get it.
think he's a play. I mean, he's an NFL
Yeah.
player. I'm not saying he can't play, but it's just like for this team, when we're resulting to that and we're throwing slant passes to Brock Wright, we in trouble. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. I mean, I've seen us hike the ball and literally run a slant pattern to Brock Wright. Think about what I just said. Brock Wright is a blocking tight
No,
end.
I know.
Why
I
are
know.
you throwing a slant pattern to Brock Wright? It makes no sense to me. So yeah, bro, throw Miles Frazier in there, man. Why can't we? I wish that why no, what's the deal with Mahogany? Is Mahogany like out for the season or what is going on with Christian Mahogany? Yeah, I don't know because this one
I
I was
mean, when he got hurt, coach just said he was gonna be out for a long time.
okay because
So
because
that's all we know, man. Long time.
because
I
this
want to
is what I
say
want
something
to
real
see.
quick
Okay, I'm sorry.
because I think that no, you could. Because this is gonna transition. We're gonna have, and I'm glad we got a decent amount of listeners tonight that's still following us right now. Because y'all gonna be included in this. We're gonna have some hard discussions tonight in this next segment, bro.
Yeah,
Because there's some guys that this is something you and I talked about maybe 2 weeks ago,
yeah,
and we discussed having a conversation about some of these guys that's been here for the first 5 years who may have peaked, guys who may not be as elite as we potentially thought they could be. Um, how much money these guys should ultimately be paid? Do they get a second contract? Do you have that tough decision, that tough conversation upstairs with, listen, we can't bring this guy back. We
yeah,
can upgrade from him. Because when you have the notion of draft, resign, rinse and repeat,
yeah,
and screw free agency, now you're in a situation where you gotta hit. You can't afford to miss on an entire draft when your whole philosophy as an organization is to draft, resign, repeat. You're not filling any holes on the roster with guys that are 26, 27 years old,
mhm,
veterans who are in their prime of their careers that can play.
yeah,
So you constantly gambling your Super Bowl window on 21-year-olds and your 22-year-olds,
mhm.
you know? So, I mean, what do you think of that? Because I think right now I'm going to start out with Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch. I think those are the two elephants in the room for that matter because,
Mhm.
and I love Brian, man. I love Brian Branch as a player. And I've been saying for the past couple years, I think he's a guy who could be a Brian Dawkins-esque type of player
Yeah,
based around what you have around him. And if you look back at Brian Dawkins' career, Philadelphia had him surrounded with 4 Pro Bowlers. Like, well, Bobby Taylor was a Pro Bowler, Al Harris was a Pro Bowler,
mhm.
Troy Vincent was a perennial Pro Bowler. They all made him a better safety. And I've been complaining the past couple years that they haven't done enough to around him to make him a better safety.
Yeah,
So this is a guy who wasn't a first round pick. You don't have a 5th-year option on him, but there could be a blessing in disguise for this situation for him as well as the organization because you could still sign him. And I think that's probably what's going to happen.
yeah. Of
I
course,
think that
of
they're
course.
going to sign him this offseason. It's not going to be to what people think it's going to be or what he thinks it's going to be because there is no 5th-year option. And he can't possibly walk into year 4 with no deal at all. And he's going through an Achilles rehab.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
think they re-sign him.
Oh yeah, for sure,
Um,
for sure.
the gamble is with you because you're going through also what you're going through with Kirby.
Yeah.
and the injuries he's going through and the degenerative knee, and there's no more cartilage there. So this is a guy who chances are will not play a 17 game season again the rest of his career.
Yeah.
Kirby may be a guy who plays 2 games, misses 3.
Yeah.
If you get 3 straight games out of him, you're doing real good because he's gonna miss 2 with knee
Yeah.
tendonitis and arthritis in the knee. So
Mm-hmm.
safety, bro,
Yeah. And
it's
then,
looking
then we
scary
draft
right now.
then we draft Dan Jackson too from Georgia, right? Last
Yeah.
year. Late
Yep.
late round pick. Now I don't know what the deal is with him. Like what was his injury? I don't know.
I
That's
forgot. I can look it up real quick.
was another guy that didn't play, you know what I'm saying, for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying. So but like you said, to answer your question, even with Dan Jackson in the fold, I'm still drafting a safety, bro. You still, I mean, you still would have to you still got to get that depth. You know what I mean? You still got to get a depth because somebody mentioned Thomas Harper and Brent's right. I mean, Thomas Harper's a guy I do like him too. It's some good bones with him too. I really do believe that with Thomas Harper. But I do think you can get this is a good safety draft. I was looking at it yesterday. Some very good prospects. You know, you can get another young safety and get him for cheap. You don't like you said, if you want to sign Thomas Harper, that's fine as a backup. You got Dan Jackson. It's not going to hurt you to maybe you're not going to take one high. You know what I mean? But maybe or unless you see one you like. You know what I mean? And we'll do some safety shows because I think this year there's a couple guys that I had my eye on, especially out in the West Coast, that we can put on this roster. But yeah, I do believe that like you to go back to your point about the young guys. To me, I think young talent on defense will help you more so than young talent on offense. To me, I believe that because you can't tell me another guy that I wanted like Demetrius Knight Jr. at linebacker. You can't tell me that kid would have helped this team. You know what I'm saying? It just seemed like when you got a young dog at linebacker or a young, hungry, defensive end, it seemed like those guys are more suitable to be guys that'll help your team right away. Sort of remind me of Braden Fist and Jared Verse. I mean, those two guys right away helped the Rams, you know what I'm saying, become, last year, they were really good players. Like this year, now Talik Williams, I see people kind of down on Talik Williams right now. You know what I'm saying? And
What for?
yeah, I mean, not me, but I'm
He
saying I've
lost.
heard
He
people.
lost snaps, but when he was out there, he was playing. He just lost snaps because the big dog came back.
Yeah, yeah,
He gonna
and I
play
think,
next to him next year. They'll be okay.
yeah, yep. I,
Just
I
put
like
some pass
Talik.
rush help around him
Yep, that's right. That's right. Get my
and
man
draft
some
Nick
help, man.
Singleton too.
Yeah, yeah,
I do. Lou, listen, if they do choose to let David Montgomery go, I think. And don't get me wrong, man.
I love Singleton. I love him.
Nick
Love him.
Singleton has his flaws. His vision ain't the best. Um, he's nowhere near as good as Katron Allen. I don't think. But 6'1", was he 6'2", 220?
Yeah,
Probably gonna run sub 4.4. Big time athlete. If you're talking about replacing David Montgomery with a bigger, more souped up version of David Montgomery
yeah,
with more athleticism, and just think
yeah.
if you can get a power back who can also take it the distance, just like Gibbs can take it the distance. Like having 2 running backs out there who can
Never
both
hurt,
have
man.
the ability to take it 80 yards is crazy. Nick
What's that?
Singleton is a physical freak out there.
Yeah, love
And
him, man.
if he I think he's a guy, if he's in the right system and he's not the number one guy, which he wouldn't be the number one guy here,
Yeah.
he could be real dynamite. He could be real dynamite. But
What's the key?
running back is a position that they do have to. Well, maybe they don't feel like it. Maybe they do bring back David Montgomery. Maybe they go get a guy in free agency. I
Yeah,
don't know, but I think safety is a position I would really consider taking seriously. I think
hmm
most of this town probably looking at me like I'm crazy. Everybody's talking about offensive line, got to draft offensive line first, got to draft offensive line first. I'm more so in the crowd of, like I said, you're losing. There's a good chance. Listen, Taylor Decker, he can't be your starting left tackle next year. Can't. He
Yeah.
can't. So before, and then Panay Sewell's a vet.
Yeah.
Chances are you're going to lose Glasgow as a vet.
Hmm.
Glasgow might retire. So there's a good chance that by the time the draft rolls around, weeks before the draft rolls around,
Yeah.
Decker could be gone, Glasgow could be gone, and offensive line wise, you're left with Panay Sewell, future gold jacket,
Yeah.
Mahogany, Awasika, uh, Tate Ratledge, Miles Frazier.
Yeah.
That could get ugly. I would much rather go get a veteran,
Yeah.
maybe two veterans in free agency, pay a little
Yeah.
bit of money.
I told you Linderbaum is the guy I want at center. You
Them
know what I'm
too,
saying?
like pay a little bit of
Yeah.
money.
I'm taking Tyler Linderbaum, whatever he
Let
wants.
Jared Goff know you serious about his health.
That's right. That's right. You know,
You
because
know,
like you say, you got to be able
and
to
I would rather
account.
use the draft to address the defense, like you were saying.
Mhm.
Get some young talent on defense, some pass rushers, some corners,
Yeah.
some safeties.
The kid. What's the I don't think he's a pass rusher, but he's a good at it. I like the kid from Bama, Overton.
Oh,
He
yeah,
built like a bowling ball.
Overton,
Yeah, man, kill people.
LT Overton.
LT Overton, love him. It's another guy. Ukulele. I can't say his name right for Oregon. I like him. 6'5",
Oh, your
270.
boy, that's your boy, little brother.
Yeah, yeah, I like him.
DJ
Yeah,
Uyunglele.
Teo. Yeah, I like Teo. Yep, he's a good player.
6'5", 265.
Yeah, he's 6'5", 270, can run like a deer, super fast.
Get after the
What's
quarterback, non-stop motor.
Yeah, I love the kid from Indiana, Mikal Kamara. I think Kamara is an absolute monster. Love him. I would love to get him at later rounds if I could. I'm just going through here a couple prospects that I do like. What's the safety? My man, he played for Michigan. Sab, what's his name? Played for
Yeah.
Bama.
I thought
Sab,
I thought you was about to say Rob Moore.
Rob Moore. Yeah, Rob Moore, okay. I mean, I could see him. I mean, we usually don't draft Michigan players at all. None of our regimes ever draft Michigan players, but I like him. He's okay. It was one safety I want to bring up, throw you away too, other than Sab, to see if you like this kid. Where is he at? Oh man, sorry. Hold on, I gotta get to the second page.
While you get to
Um,
that, I'm just gonna comment on David Molina's comment here.
yeah,
I was thinking this too because the first 5 years of the rebuild, we were an offensive dominant team. They may shift the next 5 years and be a defensive dominant team because it just due to the fact that they've got so many holes on defense, they can't help but invest a lot of resources in defense this offseason. The next two off seasons for that matter. They have to get corner help. They got to get safety help
yeah,
because you got to. So an Achilles and a degenerative knee isn't good at all. So you got to go out there and replace those guys.
yeah,
You have to figure out how to get to the quarterback somehow,
yeah,
some way.
yeah,
Like you have to, man. Whether it's Aiden Hutchinson getting 12 sacks and getting another guy that can get 11 and a half to 13 or 14. And that may be a little unfair to him, but if you look at what the NFL has become, remember back in the 90s when as a defensive end, if you got 11 sacks or 11 and a half sacks, you was considered an all pro. Now they kind of thumb their nose at you.
yeah. Yeah, that's right. You know who else I do like is he not a safety. Water, I misspoke. I'm sorry. Damani Jackson for Bama, 6'1", but I'm looking at the speed, 4.28. We need somebody who can run, bro. We cannot.
You know
We
what? I brought
drafted these.
him up a few months ago. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting guys who can't run. Well, you can't run. You know what I'm saying? DJ Reed is getting beat on every play. It's ridiculous. I mean, even though DJ in a tough spot, he really is. I thought his rationale for coming here was figuring, okay, I'm around, a defense with McNeil and Aiden Hutchinson, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, and I think his skill set would be better if
You was a,
You know,
back in the day. You was a legend if you got 11.
yeah. Nah, man, they get 20.
Miles Garrett might
Your
get
boy,
30.
your boy got 20. A maniac.
Drug
Yeah.
test that
And you know, just for me, I just
man.
can we get a corner who can run, man? You know what I'm saying, and not get beat on every play. You know what I'm saying, and can't play. You know, just putting us in harm's way, like because we can't keep up. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of. I mean, we're gonna go across. Yeah, I like Barham too. I do like him, Brent. You know, it's some talent out there. You know, so University of Minnesota's got some good talented guys, man, on offense. And another guy that I do like at receiver, he went to USC, right behind St. Brown, is Makai Lemon. I think Makai Lemon, he undersized though. That's the only thing I don't like. I want the Lions to get another bigger receiver.
I think he's a more explosive St. Brown.
Yeah, man. Makai Lemon
Yeah,
can play ball, man. Oh my
yeah.
goodness. Yeah, I like him too. So there's just a couple guys that's been piquing my interest. You know, quarterback wise, if I had to just throw some names out there, I like Mendoza from Indiana. I think he's a guy that show. I like to see quarterbacks in late game situations when the game is on the line. He won that Penn State game outright. Just went out and took his team down and refused to lose that game. I think it's something to that, man. When you can do that in college and get the practice and get the reps in high pressure situations. I think E mentioned Dante Moore. That's my guy, like prototype. That would be my dream scenario for us to get a guy like Dante Moore and just let him marinate in the system, man. Get the right offensive coordinator, right? You got to
They
get
got
the
to be
right
in the
up.
first round then.
Yeah, that's true. That's the only thing. And see, yeah, you can't.
Can't
I
do it.
don't think the Lions. You don't want to take a. You're not taking a quarterback in the first round. That's the only thing about that situation because, like you said, right, he is a first round draft pick. But I think that's another thing we could talk about too. Like later on, we'll talk about it tonight. But the coach. I mean, well, I mean, do you think? Let me ask you this before we get out of here tonight. Do you think that offensive coordinator? I mean, do you think? I mean, obviously, I'm not bringing Johnny Morton back. If you asking me, what I'm asking you is, do we got to get serious about getting an offensive coordinator? I think I already answered my own
Um,
question, but you know,
Very much so. And I think for a variety of reasons.
yeah,
For one, love Dan Campbell as a head coach,
yeah,
leader of men, galvanized locker room.
yeah, for
Those
sure,
guys love that man. They'll
for
run through
sure,
a wall for him, figurehead for the organization. I don't want him managing my football game. Don't.
yeah,
I don't want him calling plays. I think if you look at the talent this offense has, you have enough high end talent to consistently score 30. This offense should
yeah,
never be held under 20 points. And they've been held under 20 points, what, 5 times this season?
yeah. Way too many, way too many.
That's ridiculous. When you have
Mhm.
Jameer Gibbs, Jameson Williams, that type of Olympic speed out there, and Laporta out there at that point in time.
Yeah,
Um, Tesla, who's talented as hell and has proven as of late he should have been playing earlier, and it doesn't make any sense why he wasn't.
uh-huh.
You playing Khalif Raymond because you guys seem to have some weird thing with not liking to play rookies too much.
Yeah,
Khalif Raymond, you love him, organizational guy, should not been playing over Tesla.
uh-huh.
Those were valuable reps that Tesla should have been getting.
Yeah.
And
That's
this
right.
was a concern you and I had about this organization at the very beginning. Like, are they going to be too loyal to their guys? Are they willing to do what it really takes to win?
Yeah,
Because some guys that should have been playing were not playing. Tesla should have been the number 3 all season. Let's be real about it. Minnesota would have drafted Tesla. He would have been the number 1. He either would have been the number 2 next to Justin Jefferson, or he would have been the number 3.
yeah,
If Ben Johnson would have been, well, I think Ben Johnson would have utilized him if he would have been here.
yeah. Yeah. That's all. You can hide that kid and get him and spring him open. You know, 5, 10 yards down the field. You know what I'm saying? Run some stuff for him. But I do believe this. I do believe that like this season. I mean, me and you love the draft. We love the process and everything like that. So that's why we already kind of talking draft. You know what I mean? Not that we give it up on the season, but I just this game, I don't expect the Lions to win this week. You know what I mean? I just don't because I think the Rams they got bigger fish to fry. That's how I feel. I mean, I feel like the Rams, like we could beat the Eagles. We have beat them this year. It's just like the Rams could win the Super Bowl. They really could, and it sucks to say that. You know what I mean? I mean, if I had to ask you, I asked a friend of mine today before we get out of here. Who would you see in the Super Bowl? Right? I mean, this season, like you said, maybe without the Lions, the Ravens, the
Yeah.
Chiefs in the playoffs. Who's going to make it to the Super Bowl? I said a friend of mine said the Rams and the Bills, and I said the Broncos and the Packers. That's what I kind of said, like just off the top of my head. You know what I'm saying? It just don't even it don't sound right, but I could see the Rams winning this thing just because of the coach. Just you see McVay there, you know, a more seasoned staffer who seems like he's just playing like I told you, the most dangerous thing in NFL is a relaxed quarterback. And Stafford just man, he out in Cali playing ball, and he don't have any worry. He's got the Super Bowl already. That's a dangerous thing, man. You know what I'm saying? It really is. I really do believe that the Rams could be a team that could win the Super Bowl. So therefore, I just don't see the Lions winning this week. You know what I'm saying? Now, if the Lions won, would it surprise me? No, it wouldn't, because I think if we did go to LA and win, it would be because of the guys we have on offense. You know what I mean? I really do. I think at this point, like you said earlier, I think it was a good point by you talking about just score points. This team needs to score points. Meaning the Lions, I think that's the path we got to take again to beat teams. You know, to be we definitely scored 20 on the Steelers. We beating that team. You know what I'm saying? If we scored 20, 24 on the Steelers, I don't see the Steelers putting up points like that on us. You know what I'm saying? Even without our safeties, I don't think that Aaron Rodgers can yeah, and I think Denver, Corey. I think Denver's a team. New England, I like the pay. I like everything the Patriots did this offseason. I like Drake May. Loved him from the start. Everybody, Walter tell you, Bo Nix, my guy, man. I think that he's got something, a lot of quarterback. And it'd be funny to see those two guys play against each other, maybe for the right to go to Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Bo Nix against Drake May. I think it's going to be a good playoff, either and both, because I think that this year is up in the air who's actually going to make it, man. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
for me, Walt, you know, before we get out of here, first of all, great show, man. I like doing this with you, man. I like our dialogue. You know, every day you text me, I text you, like, yeah, what about this? What about that? You see this? You know, this some bullshit. You see that? You know what I'm saying about this team, about the scheme, about the game, about the headlines. And I think we got to go back to the drawing board. Well, I really do. I think this roster, I think this team just needs a reset, man. Sometimes I think the best thing is to get a reset, hit the reset button, find out what, you know, reflect on what y'all did. You know, it's gonna hurt to see Chicago or Green Bay win this division. It really is. I think sometimes you need to see other teams like, no, man, that should be us. And I think that, like you said, this is a next step uh, in the Dan Campbell coaching regime here, because now he got us to past being a laughing stock of the league, right? Being irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? Now we're a team that all the networks want us to play on Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football, and we playing on the 425 slots now. You know what I'm saying? So we surpassed being a laughing stock of the league. Now it's time to get to the championship level that we all expect this team to be at right now. And I think that's the part. Now he's got to hire another offensive coordinator. That's a situation again. You know, who you gonna get? Now I was saying Mike McDonald, Mike McDaniel, I said Mike McDonald, Mike McDaniel, and he might keep his job because the boys, what Miami won 4 straight. It seems like they
Winning by
playing.
accident, huh?
Yeah, it seems like they winning for him, man. I think Mike McDaniel's a great offensive mind, man. You know what I'm saying? I think some people was talking about Brian Daboll. I don't know. I guess if you want to bring him in, I don't know. But I just think you need a proven guy. Forget, like, again, doing it on the cheap, doing it. I mean, in-house, if you got somebody in mind, like you said, if Hank Fraley, you might want to give it to him so he don't leave, but man, I just think that we're style. Let's get some real football people, from the talent to the coaches. Just we not that far away. You know what I'm saying? Even if we don't make the playoffs this year, we not that far away. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh my God, we need, 4 years of drafting before we able to say we could get back to winning. I think, one good off season, one good off season, one good free agency period, get some guys back that was banged up this year, and I think we right back. You know what I'm saying? Real right back. So,
well, to answer your question, as far as the Super Bowl, if I had to bet my money on it, I just feel like it's gonna be the Rams or the Bills, and the Bills flawed as hell too. But I just look at it, especially in that conference right now, in a season where Patrick Mahomes, Josh Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson may all miss the playoffs.
mhm.
This man's kryptonite in Josh Allen was Patrick Mahomes. He beat everybody else. If I'm not mistaken, he has career-wise, he has a winning record against Lamar. He's got a winning record against Joe Burrow. He's beaten all of them. I don't trust Bo Nix. I think Denver has an elite defense, but I don't trust Bo Nix. As much as I do like New England is still young and they haven't been there neither. Like Buffalo is a team full of players that have been there also. The head coach has been there. That's something else that, people aren't really talking about either. We don't really trust the Chargers, Justin Herbert at all.
Mm-mm.
They got a ton of injuries. You mentioned the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers ain't beating Buffalo. I just think that if in the situation, because I think the AFC is completely different. It's a completely different approach from the NFC. If we're talking about just strictly the AFC, this is a season where I could see Josh Allen getting hot and demolishing some teams because we've seen him do it in the playoffs. Dude have a 360-yard passing game, 4 touchdowns, have another 65 rushing yards on the ground for 2 touchdowns. He'll do it. And if we basing it on what is the main reason we keep giving Kansas City the credit we give Kansas City? Well, they got Patrick Mahomes. Even though Patrick Mahomes hasn't looked like vintage Patrick Mahomes since Tyreek Hill left, we still give him that cachet because he's got the Super Bowls, and granted, nobody else has the Super Bowls in the AFC except him. But we give the Chiefs the benefit of the doubt, the built-in benefit of the doubt because of who their quarterback is. Well, Josh Allen has beaten all of those other quarterbacks this season as well.
Yeah.
Which is the first time any of those guys have done that to each other. So to me, the writing is kind of on the wall. If we're talking about regardless of whether it's in Denver, if it's in New England, first of all, Bills and Patriots could go either way anyway. That's a divisional opponent. But if you ask me, do I trust Buffalo against the Chargers? Yeah, I do. Yeah. Playoff game, I trust Buffalo against Denver. I trust Buffalo for damn sure over the Steelers.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I just, like I said, I think this is a situation in the AFC where the best quarterback is probably going to run the gauntlet and win it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, so let me ask you this before we get out of here.
Man, Ralph, stop being a player hater, man. It's okay to like Josh Allen, bro. Like, don't keep finding ways to slight the man every chance you can, bro. Everybody's on the down slope, bro. Everybody got damn near 5 losses, except for the Rams. So we can't even run that no more.
Let me ask you a question. What are you looking for, like with this team? Like, are you like I said, I'm kind of watching Miles Frazier, and I want to
And
see.
ain't no damn tools, man. Name one wide receiver on Buffalo.
What's the
This
guy?
man making up stuff, man. Just to
Shakur?
slight my boy Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Making up stuff.
No, so let me ask you this. Before we get out of here, what's the thing like that you watching? Like, are you already checked out? You know what I'm saying, for this season, or are you kind of
For Detroit?
what are your expectations? Like, do you expect us to make the playoffs, or do you think we'll make it interested, or is that game gonna mean something on week 18? You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? It's a lot of sidebars.
Yeah, I think Green Bay beating Chicago yesterday all but locked in that week 18 game against Chicago to mean something. For both teams. I think it's gonna mean something for us. It's gonna mean something for Chicago too. That's what Green Bay did yesterday.
Mhm.
But I'm kind of with you. I'm not sure if they beat the Rams. I'm very uneasy about that. I gave you the reasons why. Like, for fans out there that feel like we're bad fans because we're picking the team to lose, and if we just look at it for what it is, man, and I get it, any given Sunday, any team can beat any team. No Brian Branch, no Kirby Joseph. You missing from top to bottom since the start of the season. You're missing with your top 3 corners. You still get no pass rush whatsoever. You've
Right.
been pretty much inconsistent stopping the run all season. You've been giving up rushing touchdowns. And then you kind of in a situation where you're hoping defensively you can put together some sort of game plan where you can stop that offense. If they can't keep the Rams under 24 points, I think they lose.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just what it is. And I don't see them keeping the Rams under 30, honestly.
I
And
think
this
it's
team ain't built to come from behind because they don't like to push the ball down the field.
yeah. And you think, well, it's six in. I think the Rams are 6-point favorites right now, and the over and under is 55.5, and that's the highest total of any game next week. So what I'm saying is, I think Vegas thinks that it's going to be a shootout. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be 55 total points.
Well,
So
they
if
think
that's
the
the case,
Rams gonna smash us. The
yeah,
Rams gonna score 41 of those points.
yeah, maybe 41-15 or something like that. Yeah,
That looks scary, man. Like Puka and
Devontae,
Devontae
they using them
out
right.
there.
They using Devontae right, man. You use a big body like that. I always say, man, you got a 6'3" body who can catch the ball, win one-on-ones. The red zone is best friend, man, and that's what Stafford been doing. So, uh, yeah, it's gonna be a good game. I don't think the Lions go there and get smashed. I think Dan Campbell. The one thing we do know about Dan is this team refused to like pout or sit in a corner with their arms folded, that type of thing. I think they will play, um, but a matter of when. I just don't think that we have enough horses to win. They got guys they can rotate in and out. It's just
Yeah.
like we got one line of defense. They got three, and that's the disheartening part about the whole thing. I think their secondary can get got though. I do believe that. I don't think the Rams secondary is that great at all. What's someone named Cameron Curl? I think he's a guy. He's not that great. I had their roster on top of my head here.
They can get after the quarterback though.
Yeah, they get at the quarterback. Oh yeah, we
We
know
don't
that.
like that.
No, no,
We don't like that.
no, no, no.
Well, before we get out of here, I want to ask you one question, man.
Yeah.
And this go Ralph too, because I know you've had a lot of thoughts on him. I'm a Ross St. Brown,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a theory on him. And I think he's a good receiver, but I liken him and his impact similar to like Rip Hamilton with the Pistons. You good at what you do.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. There's a lot of literally mesh between a whole lot of why you get your yards. And there's not a lot of you out there for the sake of making the basketball comparison, getting your own shot for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what we've talked about for the past few years with him. That's to me what really separates him. It keeps him out of that elite club with the Jamar Chases and the Tyreek Hills, even though Tyreek Hill is hurt right now. Justin Jefferson,
Mm-hmm.
even AJ Brown, when AJ Brown was as at his best.
Yeah.
Those number one guys that can go out there and beat man coverage. They can beat outside leverage. They can beat inside leverage. They can beat you with if you're 6'2", 208, 41-inch wingspan, whatever it may be. They can beat those types of players. He's not that type of wide receiver. And it's like once teams officially figured out our offense, they figured him out.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's not the guy that's going to go out there. He's not the home run hitter. He's the singles. He's the doubles. Every now and then he might get you a triple. Jameson Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, those two guys are the home run hitters.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think in the case of St. Brown, I mean, they paid him a lot of money, and he's worth it. He's completely outperformed where he was drafted at.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you think there's something more physically wrong with him, or is he because he plays a very physical brand of football too? So, like, what are your thoughts really on him and his current situation? Because it's to me, it's obvious that this could be a turning point, possibly in this whole franchise, in regards to how they view Jameson Williams or how they view St. Brown. Because to me, what we're seeing down the final few games of this season, the stretch,
yeah,
JMO is starting to become the guy.
Yeah,
and I think he should be. I mean,
think
he's
he
got
should be.
guy talent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely right. I agree with everything you said about that part of it, about Jameson being the number one. Is I think he is. I think that as much as people try to push back and don't, they always give you a reason why he's not. You know what I'm saying? But his talent shows that he is, right? And it's sort of like, and St. Brown's super smart, and he knows football, and he knows Jamo's a dog. He does, you know what I mean? And I don't think that St. Brown's the kind of guy that's in the locker room standing on the table like Willie Beamer from Any Given Sunday saying he's like the guy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody knows St. Brown's good, but he's not saying that. I mean, I'd be shocked to hear, of him doing things like that or saying that. So I do think he's kind of waiting for somebody to pass the torch to it, to take, because it benefits him. If you get a guy like Jameson Witt, it's benefiting St. Brown going to eat regardless. I mean, it's amazing. He's done what he done this year, being the only option pretty much that Goff throws it to. So I think that this year showed that they kind of overusing him, man. I really do. I think that, he's hobbled this year. He hasn't been 100%. I don't care what anybody says. I think he's been hurt since the beginning of the season. He was limping around to me. I think that ankle hasn't been right. You know what I'm saying? And he's just going out there. And for him to play against the Cowboys being hurt, I thought that was just admirable to me, man. It just shows that he really is the leader of this team, man. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, Corey, and until they get that big body type receiver,
Tesla,
I don't think that this offense is not going to take off. And they need a guy who's a visionary, the next offensive coordinator, that can see that and say, hey, St. Brown can be more effective if we do X, Y, and Z with JMO, if we do X, Y, and Z with Tesla, draft another guy or sign another guy, whatever way you want to slice it. And I think that St. Brown, yes, is a guy. He is one of the top 8 receivers in the league. You know what I'm saying? He's not big in stature, so you're not going to say, oh, well, he's the number one guy. He's different from Jamar Chase. He's different from Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb and the top guys
George
in the league.
Pickens.
Yeah, George Pickens. You know what I'm saying? But St. Brown's unique. You know what I'm saying? Is he gonna beat anybody in a 40-yard dash? No, but he'll run the correct route. You know what I'm saying? I think that's another reason why Goff trusts him because he knows St. Brown gonna get where he needs to go. You know what I'm saying? St. Brown gonna be there. He put the ball there. St. Brown gonna be there. So I think that that's where the trust comes in because he know how hard St. Brown works. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh yeah,
yeah, man.
definitely.
And I think they did the right thing by paying him the money. Now the
Yes.
money's an afterthought. I think that the only thing Brad Holmes did with him and Sewell was right about the situation when he paid him. That money right now is not affecting anything that they paid them guys. You know what I'm saying? Now, we're
Well,
looking at the next contracts for other players.
do you think there's anything to the notion of guys? I don't think guys necessarily professional athletes get paid and then get fat and quit.
Yeah,
But I think there's something to the notion of players getting paid after that first 4 or 5 years is typically when you take your most damage as a young player.
yeah,
And then typically by year 6, you'll start, unless you're like the best of the best keep ascending past 26 years old, 27, 28. They ascend to like 33.
mhm,
But for the guys who don't, some of these guys' bodies genuinely do fall apart
mhm,
by the age of 25.
yeah,
So I think there's situations where organizations get the best of you. Look at running backs. You get the best of my years when I'm 21, 22, 23, 24 years old, maybe 25.
yeah. That's why they
Then
gotta make. Yeah, that's why I think they say, telling y'all, mark my words today, December 8th. Gibbs might be holding out, bro. You know what I mean? Because I would not play it. Just like you got to lock me down for another 3-4 years, man. Solid, because I'm not. I've been the
don't him
man
and
for.
Bijan have the same agent?
I do they? Okay, I didn't know that.
Let me check
But
that out, man.
you got to. Gibbs got every right to say, listen, for 2 years I've been leading the NFL touchdowns, touches, all-purpose yards. They running the hell out of me. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, I'm y'all offense. So man, Gibbs got a lot of leverage right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's something to watch to me in my book because I think that the way they used it, I think they did it to themselves. It's kind of like overusing them. And now you got to pay, man, period. I mean, I know he's getting a first round contract to begin with. I think he's a top 12 pick. So, you know what I'm saying? He is getting money, but, and I hate talking contracts because that's them guys' money. They earned it. You know what I'm saying? But it's just the fact that I'm just saying that that's the nature of the business that they're in, that it's about money, man,
Okay. I was
and if
wrong.
that
They
man
don't.
been leading the league for 2 years, and now you want him to come out again for a third season and do the same thing, man, that's a lot to ask, man. You know what I'm
He
saying?
done did in his first 3 seasons what Barry didn't do.
Yeah.
Now, but and just to say that I think that he's better than Barry's talks is effing ridiculous, man.
Uh-huh.
Let this man be who he is. He
Just
ain't
let him
better
be
than
who he
Barry.
let him be who he is. You're right. Just it shouldn't even be that way. And I just think that again, before I get out of here, I just say this: it was a lost season, man. It was a lost season for Gibbs. I think what he's done the last 2 years have been special, man. Getting bounced in the playoffs like we did last year. He led the league in touchdowns, and he's gonna finish. Even though he would never win the award, the MVP award, because it is a
Unless he go
quarterback.
crazy down these last 4 games of the
I mean,
season.
I just think that he's like one of the most underrated guys in the league. No one even I think they give him his due, but they don't feel like he's an MVP type player. And then that's the thing that they can hang their hat on his agent or whoever he is. Do you see who his agent was? They got the same agent, him and
No,
Bijan.
they don't. They
Oh,
don't.
okay, okay, but yeah, man. So
I
we'll
don't
see
know. I
how
mean,
it goes.
it's hard to sell a running back on the MVP. Now, the Barkley had the season he had last year. Jonathan Taylor, as long as the Colts would have kept winning, I think Jonathan Taylor would have had a legit shot. Now, what happened to the Colts is awful, man. That's
Mhm.
is awful.
Yeah,
Then considering the fact you gave up those 2 first-round picks for
yeah,
Sauce, and Sauce out there getting burnt,
yeah,
just like he was with the Jets.
yeah.
So you have no quarterback. Daniel Jones coming off an Achilles, you don't know what the hell to expect from that. You can't even get a young quarterback because you have no draft capital early.
Mhm.
And then Richardson ain't it. He ain't even playing. He hurt.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson, yeah.
Like it's
Yeah,
boy.
it's a mess. Yeah, their defense is decent, so they can hang their hat on that going into next season. But yeah, it's rough. It's rough for the Colts right now,
It's
And
like
like you
as
said,
a yep, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say just what you said about 32 teams. I like how you said that. It's like 32 teams got to taste the reality in some type of way, whether it's good or bad. Like we've seen the teams that have ascended this year and kind of, like you said, the Patriots, the Broncos, even for the Carolina Panthers, for that matter, as really, they might win that division. You know what I'm saying? When it's all said and done, I think the biggest disappointment, I think for me this year, I got two teams I'm really disappointed in. You know what I'm saying? Not my teams, but the Cardinals and the Raiders were both teams that I really thought that they would turn the corner this year, and they didn't. Man, I really, it really, it's a head scratcher in Arizona because it's like I don't know what to make of the Kyler Murray thing. I wasn't really a Kyler Murray guy to begin with, but you thought they gave him enough. What's his name? Harrison Jr. just seemed like he's been non-existent, but I kind of blame that the offensive system, the quarterback. Something not right with the Cardinals, man. And I know
I blame
Marvin
the
Harrison's
quarterback.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, I blame the quarterback because you saw what happened when Jacoby Brissett stepped in there
Mhm.
and the offense started moving.
Yeah.
He had no issues finding Marvin Harrison Jr. You know why? Because he's a veteran that runs the offense on time.
Mhm.
Majority of that offense's issues are Kyler Murray's fault.
Yeah.
Nothing with him is rhythm. Nothing with him is on time. You can make the argument that offense will be much better with Jared Goff as a quarterback with
Mhm.
those wide receivers.
Yeah.
And it's an indictment, a complete indictment on him that as soon as he went out, the offense started moving. Soon as he got hurt, the offense started moving. So that's a situation. I don't know. I'm majorly disappointed in them too because I think they got a lot of young defensive players and the offense just didn't hold up their end of the bargain. The water broke, and
Mhm.
eventually the defense couldn't hold up their end of the bargain anymore, and bottom fell out. But I agree with you 100%. I think Arizona was probably for me the biggest disappointment of this season. Period. So,
Yeah.
all right, man. This is Rams week. Just wanted to start out this first Monday. We ain't have to start out necessarily talking about uh Dallas or talking about the Rams this early. We will be back later on in the week to talk about Stafford, McVay, and that whole team over there. But we wanted to kind of give you guys a little reset real quick on what the team with the roster looks like. Financially, what we're looking at for the 2025 offseason. The free agents we have, some of the upcoming free agents possibly around the league, and what the team's overall approach should be in regards to filling those needs. So, hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Want to thank everybody for joining in with us. Been 1 hour and 37 minutes. We will be back in a few days. Till next time, we will be back with One Pride.